Hey all, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. The roads ahead kind of closed to us right now, but thankfully we did find a gummy in deep jungle that should lead us forward. However, there's always a however or a but with these sorts of hopeful statements. We need someone to help us utilise that gummy correctly, and thankfully there's a recurring Final Fantasy character who just so happens to live in Traverse Town. So why don't we go pay Sid a visit?
Well, there's several in Traverse Town, but Sid is the one we need. However, the party doesn't know that yet, because we haven't actually seen Sid at his real job. We've only seen him at the accessory shop.
Okay, well... spoilers for this 20-fucking-year-old game, I guess.
Yeah, so first we've got to find Leon. But before that, I think I have some good news for you, Tom, and that this is the final gummy mission you'll see with this slow-ass piece of shit we're using right now.
Oh, saints be praised. First Sonic 2 delivers, and now this.
I'm glad you enjoyed the movie, just to get that out of the way. I'll be happy to watch it with you when it's out on DVD.
Fuck yeah, buddy, fuck yeah. I enjoyed it a lot, but you can check my Twitter for more in-depth opinions on that. Actually, some interesting stuff you guys told us regarding the gummy blocks and whatnot led me to actually go back and read some of the Ansem reports, and I have those in front of me right now, so if you allow me to do a Richie and wiki read, I can give you all a bit of context on how gummy blocks are basically formed and, you know, what their purpose is in the grand scheme of the KH universe. Ansem Report 7. I'm studying material from the meteors that rained down that fateful night. What a find! The material is foreign to our world. It is elastic to the touch, and when two pieces are combined, they bond easily. None of the records even mention such a substance. Was it introduced to this world when I opened the door? I wonder how many other such materials drift through the atmosphere of this tiny world. I wish I could soar off and find out. Could there be uncharted worlds up there? My curiosity never ceases to grow. But I should stop speaking of such unrealistic dreams. For now, there is no way to venture outside this world. My people and I are all but prisoners of this tiny space.
So it turns out that the gummy blocks are not the remnants of destroyed worlds, as I, talked about in an earlier part. They're actually the remnants of the barriers between worlds, according to that, as some people said in the YouTube comments, which is also pretty interesting and probably makes more sense, because if the worlds get, reinstated at the end of the game, then theoretically the gummy blocks should disappear.
Yeah, the barriers are finite, the worlds hopefully not so much, but they go into a bit more detail if I scroll down a little bit here in Ansem Report 9. Now, I believe Ansem Reports 1 to 10 were in the base version of KH1, and 11 to 13 were added in Final Mix. I'll get to those in a little bit. Ansem Report 9. Simply astonishing. Today I had a guest from another world. He is a king, and his vessel is built of the material that comprised, or composed even, the meteors. He called the pieces gummy blocks. It seemed that my opening the door has opened a path to interworld travel. We talked for countless hours, but one story in particular caught my interest. That of a key called the Keyblade. The Keyblade is said to hold phenomenal power. One legend says its wielder saved the world, while another says that he wrought chaos and ruin upon it. I must know what this Keyblade is. A key opens doors. It must be connected to the door I have opened. Nothing in these reports explains our King Triton knew about the Keyblade. I fucking fume to this very day.
That's not explained in, any of the later games. You'd think it would have been in Birth by Sleep, because that's like a prequel. But they just kind of never touch on it again, and it's really odd.
Hey, well, it would have been prime opportunity to kind of sort of adapt Little Mermaid 3, because you get Ariel's mother's backstory in that, and you could have easily had Aqua in there, or Ven or whatever. I don't know, different choices, I suppose.
I imagine there's plenty of people that would like to see Aqua in a Little Mermaid world, but let's not go there.
Well, you just did, Spa, so kind of renders the point moot, don't it, mate?
So it turns out, as we explained, that the keyholes are, basically the key to the heart of the world. They are what allow the Heartless to get in by attacking them, and they turn the world to darkness so that it is essentially gone. And we need to seal those keyholes, which is supposed to prevent the Heartless from getting into the world, but once you leave a world and come back, all the Heartless respawn after sealing it, so I don't know how effective that is, really.
Well, they must be just coming from other worlds, because those ships that are attacking us on the gummy routes are Heartless ships, which is a bit weird, because the Heartless are said to be like, you know, beasts, for lack of a better word, but still.
Right there we picked up our first summon, or at least the summon gym. We haven't quite unlocked summon itself yet, but we'll be getting to that here shortly. There's a few side paths that we need to take before we go find Sid as well, because we're going to go over here, because we picked up a few of the missing Dalmatians, so we're going to return those to the family and, you know, see how happy everyone is now that the puppies are back.
Oh, thank you. More mouths to feed. Fucking brilliant. A little bit of trivia, you guys may have not known this if you haven't actually seen the film, but I believe only about 9 or 10 puppies were actually, you know, born from Pongo and Perdita here. The rest were adopted.
I was not actually aware of that when you mentioned it to me before. It makes a lot more sense that way.
Oh, that poor bitch.
Yeah, for real. There's a lot of rewards that you can get from here. We're getting some nice little gummy pieces and stuff like that. If you find all 99 of the Dalmatians and return them, you actually get the final level of the Arrow defensive spell, which is pretty crazy. And you also get one of every gummy piece in the game, which includes even some of the really hard to find stuff. So that could be really helpful if you're planning on taking on some of the gummy ship challenges that are in the game.
I have a vague memory of like collecting Dalmatians from Halloween Town in order to get 100%, because that's what you needed to get the secret ending back in those days. They've kind of relaxed it a little bit in more recent Kingdom Hearts titles, thank fuck.
For the most part, yeah, I think it's a little bit easier in Final Mix for both this and KH2, especially since KH2 Final Mix adds a critical mode. As long as you complete the game in critical mode and finish off every world, you get the secret ending. You don't need to do anything with Jiminy's Journal or anything like that. I'm doing this playthrough on the standard difficulty, and in order to get the secret ending on here, I need to finish 100% of Jiminy's Journal, which in KH1 is actually not that hard to do, and I've probably done it by accident before.
Yeah, I think like critical unlocking everything is pretty fair, because you're already playing the hardest mode. Why should you need to bust your ass with grinding and whatnot for superfluous items? One thing I hate in video games is when like there's requirements for like easy and normal and specific rewards, and you do the hardest difficulty and it doesn't unlock the ones below.
Yeah, that was actually really bad in the PlayStation 3 versions of these Kingdom Hearts collections. The trophies that you get for completing each difficulty don't stack, so you would have to do multiple playthroughs of each individual difficulty in order to get them. On PS4 and other consoles that they added the collections onto, they made it so that they stack, so whichever highest difficulty you do, you get everything below that automatically, which of course makes speedruns for the Platinum Trophy or all achievements categories much, much faster than on the PS3.
Okay. Oh, a little shufty into the 3rd district, isn't it?
Yep, we unlocked this, so there's a secret path here, or not secret, but shortcut, I guess is an easier way to say it. I think it's another thing where if you don't talk to Yuffie in the hotel room, you can't unlock this right away or something like that, and you have to come back. I might just be thinking of that one treasure chest that I mentioned in the hotel room, and I might just be incredibly wrong, but I think when you first come by that spot... Oh, I remember what it is. It's if you come to the 3rd district before actually finding Leon, you can't unlock that. You have to be found by Leon and speak to Yuffie, or at least advance past that part of the story.
You see, the Final Fantasy characters are important, and my god, jumping on these stones on an old CRT V, don't know why I say that slow, but whatever. That was hard. This area was dark as fuck. Little owl statues there. You could hear hooting around. Bit of a reference to Archimedes from The Sword and the Stone. Merlin's beleaguered owl. Sorry, I had to think of a powerful enough word to describe him there. Oh my god, Sora's tripping balls.
tripping absolute balls.
Kind of leaping from subject to subject here, but despite this being a visit to Traverse Town that you can put off for a while, a lot of important stuff happens at this visit and like point in the game.
The only thing you need to do at this point is get Sid to install the gummy in your ship so that you can get to new worlds. Anything else, as far as I know, I think you need to at least take the Winnie the Pooh book here to return it to Merlin, because that's involved in getting Sid to, you know, go work his other job as the gummy navigator or whatever. Other than that, you can just skip everything else that's in this visit, like reverse armor and the gizmo shop and stuff like that.
Okay. What's your opinion on Sword in the Stone, mate? I would rate it a very solid C grade movie.
It is one that I have not seen. I'm not particularly crazy about a lot of the older Disney stuff. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's, you know, the quality of what it is. Maybe I'm just a plebeian that, you know, needs a little bit higher resolution in the stuff that I watch. But a lot of the classic Disney stuff, I have to admit that I don't really get into. It's more the Renaissance that I really started with, and, you know, the more recent things like Tangled and Moana that I'm, you know, really a fan of.
I mean, to be fair, those are great films, and, you know, we just did Hercules and Tarzan back to back, so I can't blame you. You've got good taste.
It feels like they had more recent stuff in, like, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since they started incorporating some Pixar things as well, so they could add more in that. And hello, the most powerful character in the Kingdom Hearts series.
She can defy death!
The final world, the world that everyone, repeat, everyone, goes to when they die. The fairy godmother can just come and go as she please and take passengers along with her, which is insane to think about.
It is.
In terms of everything in this series, really.
Well, I mean, she has the power of dreams or whatever, so, look, I don't know the mechanics of how this works, alright? I respect, I fear the fairy godmother, I kneel.
Her purpose in this game is just to unlock the summon gems that we pick up, and so here we're picking up the Simba summon from Earthshine gem. Simba is probably one of the better summons for this game, I'm gonna be honest. A few of them are really not great, I'm not gonna lie. Simba's actually really good for clearing out huge waves of enemies, though, if you can avoid, you know, having your attack interrupted.
I feel like summons became less and less important as the series went on, and they, you know, pushed the player into utilizing drives and whatnot and forms a lot more.
You have so many more options in 2 and 3 that summons for the most part are just kind of not worth it. I really like Stitch in KH2 as a summon because he can block projectiles and also refill your MP, so like he's kind of objectively the best one. And there's very niche uses for other summons, but really Stitch is just kind of the main one you want to be using.
I don't want them to ever go away. It would just be nice if they had a bit more utility. But hey, important story moment.
There you are. What's going on?
You know, me and Spar just watched Whisper of the Heart, like, yesterday. So, this is pretty cool.
Cut it out.
I'm not dreaming this time.
David Gallagher
Right?
plays Seiji Yamasawa, counter to Brittany Snow playing Shizuku Tsukishima, I think was her name, as the lead girl.
Wait a second, where's Kairi?
Isn't she with you?
My opinions on the movie
don't worry.
didn't quite match with Tom's
I'm
as
sure
much
she
as I
made it off
enjoyed
the
Whisper of
island
the
too.
Heart. I did think there were some
finally
serious
free.
issues with it, but that's not what we're
Hey,
here to talk
she
about.
might
No,
even be
indeed.
looking for
We're
us
here to
now.
talk about these two trying to
We'll all be
out-big dick
together
each
again
other.
soon. Don't worry.
Sora's about to show the
Just
biggest
leave
dick
everything
energy
to me.
right here.
I know this.
There it is. Even Jack Garland couldn't do that.
It's so cool.
Leave it to
It's one of the
him?
few moments where Sora really has the badass
what
down,
did you-
because he's mostly goofy.
I've
Yeah.
been looking
And
for you.
that's just
Kairi
such a
did it.
cool moment
Look
for
there.
him that doesn't happen a lot. At least in KH1. He gets more moments
Who
in the
are
other
they?
games, at least.
Nobody gives a fuck.
So many places and worlds looking for
I'm
you.
sorry, Donald. First Winnie the Pooh, and now you.
Well, what do you know? I never would have
I was actually watching a video that ranked all the party members throughout KH1, 2, and 3, and apparently KH1 Donald is really good, and I knew this. Donald's magic levels up with Sora's, so when you get higher levels of magic, Donald gets them as well, which means he can actually clear out, you know, waves of Heartless really well.
Whoa.
None of your party members are ever going to be good against
So
bosses.
you're coming with us, right?
But at the very least, you want them to be
Got
good
this
against the normal
awesome
Heartless.
rocket. Wait till you see it.
They were good against Ansem the first time I played. I just kept tapping triangle to stay the fuck away from him.
Yeah, that's definitely the first playthrough. Oh shit, I don't want to die strat.
Now, obviously, these are spoilers for later in the series, but we did say we would be discussing stuff series-wide. The reason why Riku is able to hold the Keyblade and it doesn't just immediately go back to Sora is because the Kingdom Key was originally meant for Riku, but he fell to darkness and it just moved on down the list, to paraphrase young Xehanort.
Sora's Keyblade is the Keyblade of the realm of light, and so when Riku falls to darkness, that Keyblade can no longer belong to him, I guess is a great way to put it. So it moved on to the closest strong heart that had potential, I guess is the best way to put it, because Ventus is still within Sora's heart at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess the Keyblade maybe recognized that and said, hey, I mean, if we can't go for option 1.
What does that say about Mickey and the Kingdom Key D, though?
I think Mickey just kind of took that. I don't know if he really took control of it, because he swaps back to Starseeker, I think, in KH3, and then has to get a new Keyblade beyond that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I don't think Kingdom Key D was ever Mickey's Keyblade, it's just one that he used. And I think he probably used it in KH2 because the writers figured it would be more recognizable because it's what he uses at the end of this game. And also because Sora's using Starseeker at the time.
Well, it's funny you say more recognizable, because it actually showed up in a cameo in Kingdom Key D in one of the more recent Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Yeah, that's right, I remember seeing that. It's actually kind of funny.
You're better off without that wretched boy.
Mate, if you find yourself, like, being talked to by a woman of this caliber, just fucking ignore her. She looks like the devil's wife.
She is literally the embodiment of goth.
You never go full goth. You can have a bit of goth as a treat, but never go full goth. We have Warpga now, Spar. I think we're good to go.
Yeah, the Warp G is what allows us to teleport to worlds that we've been to before, so you don't have to ride the gummy ship really slow in between each world. Really great. We're going to see it a little bit in this playthrough, but, you know, I'm editing around a lot of backtracking and, you know, me going to pick up old items, so you won't see it too often.
The new and improved Kingdom Hearts playthrough, now with editing.
That's right. You mentioned that you didn't do a lot of editing on the original one, right?
Yeah, it kicked in around Atlantica, if I recall correctly.
Those were the old days, so it's great to have, like, new footage, new comms, and stuff like that. I imagine everyone, you know, kind of really wished Helldragon could have been here for this, but
yeah.
He's doing his own thing. He's got his own life, and he's happy, and so we're happy for him.
Well, first of all, I love recording with Spar, so there's just that. It was going to be him, whatever. And second of all, I really appreciate people who are like, this feels a bit weird, or it doesn't feel quite right without Helldragon. These are perfectly valid opinions. Like, I really shouldn't have to address this, but just to, like, clarify how I feel about it, you're not wrong for feeling that way, so don't ever be afraid to express that sort of sentiment, okay?
I also want to say that just the positive feedback that we got in the YouTube comments and, you know, in the Discord as well has been great for me to see. So I'm really happy that you guys are enjoying the stuff that we're putting out lately, whether I'm involved with it or not.
I'm especially enjoying the streams we do in, you know, addition to this.
Yeah, it's actually been great. Again, co-coms have been a bit sick lately, so we've been doing a bit more of the streams. So, yeah, we've got some pretty good stuff coming in the future. We've got good stuff on right now, so, hey, HFC is looking pretty nice.
Hey, if we do say so ourselves. Ego, ego, ego.
I mean, I'm the one that can say it because I'm not the head of the group.
That's fine, but if I say it, oh boy. Angry comments. Bit of a weird fail-safe to keep the keyhole safe, but, you know, you do you.
I feel like someone could just randomly find this. Like, if someone comes to ring the bell for 3 o'clock, oops, giant Heartless appears.
Uh-oh. Oh, it's a butterfly.
The mural swaps to the keyhole. Like, again, this is such a weird thing, because, like, anyone could find this just by ringing the bell 3 times. I've never really thought about that, but it's kind of scary.
Well, someone in the comments actually put forth the theory that maybe Traverse Town just doesn't exist whenever someone doesn't need it. I'm not entirely sure about that, because it's meant to be a refuge, and people always will need a refuge.
Right, I mean, it becomes a sleeping world later, and I guess Sora wakes it up. I don't really know the conclusion of, you know, that part of Dream Drop Distance, the sleeping worlds, but, you know, it definitely is still important in the series even after this game.
Now we're going to do what Tom Young 64, or Young Tom 64, to phrase it correctly, did with his toys, because he had a very overactive imagination. You turn them upside down. These were mostly robots and Power Ranger Zords, and then they become evil Zords. Ooh!
You're actually reminding me of my childhood. I used to be big into, like, Power Rangers and Zoids at the same time, if anyone remembers Zoids. And I would have the Zoids fight each other, and one of the Power Rangers Megazords would be, like, the referee watching over it.
That's cool, mate. So, any tips for reverse armor here? Because I do have one more gummy thing to read off.
We've got, like, all the different parts, and he's stronger than he was before. The hands are kind of the bigger threat here, whereas the legs were the bigger threat for regular guard armor. The hands are, like, more likely to attack you here. So, you know, there's, you just gotta watch out for that, because the hands are mostly the ones that's attacking. I'm repeating myself a lot. The legs are protecting the head, is what I was trying to go for there. And so the hands are the ones that you need to watch out for. And then right there, the boss actually ended up on top of that building because of, I guess, the way it moved. And so I just kind of had to wait for it to come back down.
Oh, I'm so glad you used that take. But, yeah, just to wrap things up here, Ansem Report 11, which is exclusive to KH1 Final Mix, I believe. Opening the door to the world's heart causes its walls to crumble. These fragments are seen as shooting stars. This explains why these gummy blocks can travel freely to other worlds. So there you go. I know the catalyst of the collapse, the appearance of the Heartless. However, it will take time to search out the world's doors and to retrieve each heart. Furthermore, the doors can be locked using a keyblade, making the heart forever unattainable. I must take action before the wielder of this key appears in this world. If the princesses and the keyblade are connected, they should resonate. I have chosen a girl. I don't know if she holds the princess's power, but I will find out. She may lead me to the key bearer. I shall set her free and observe.
Is that Ansem the Wise writing that report, or Xehanort, you know, masquerading as Ansem? Because I think some of the reports are written by one and some are written by the other. And that sounds more like, you know, Xehanort masquerading. Kind of thing, because that was a bit malevolent, I guess is a way to put it.
It was a little bit. The girl he's talking about is Kyrie. Let's have a look here. Some of this can be explained. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you, Spa.
I remember that vaguely, that some are written by Ansem the Wise and some are written by Xehanort after he removed Ansem the Wise from the picture, but I don't remember specifically which one, you know, which ones are written by which. So back there we picked up a Navi G piece, like we did back in Wonderland and I think Deep Jungle, but we don't have the pair that goes with it, because you need 2 Navi G pieces, I guess, to not necessarily triangulate a location, I guess, but you need both pieces to be able to get somewhere. And so we don't have the second one, so we actually need to come back later. And that's why you can push back the opposite armor fight until later, you can actually come back and do it after Neverland, that some people do. And of course, at that point, you're going to be way stronger, so the fight can be made a lot easier that way.
Oh man, that poor Giga Heartless comes out ready for a scrap, and you're just like, no, none of that.
You're busting out like Thundara. It's like, the fuck? Where'd you get this from?
Like summoning Ultima and whatnot.
There's one more thing that we've got to do here in Traverse Town. We can actually meet Pinocchio. I didn't know about this for a very long time, because when you get to Monstro later on, Sora and company act like they already know Pinocchio. Because I guess the game assumes that this scene happened. As far as I know, you can only come back and find Pinocchio if you leave Traverse Town after that required visit for the gummies and come back.
Right.
I think that's the only time that Pinocchio's there. So it's something that's pretty easy to miss, I would say.
You know, if his nose keeps growing, we can saw it off and, you know, turn it into a Keyblade of sorts.
I was kind of thinking that, yeah.
I guess that's where we get Wishing Star from.
That's kind of morbid now that you mention that.
It's just commentary, folks. It's just a lark. Don't worry about it. Can we pick up that item, please?
I think Pinocchio was like, he was stealing the item here, I guess to bring it to try to reach Geppetto. I think Geppetto is in Monstro at this time, and so Pinocchio is looking for a way to get there, and I guess this item was meant to help him do that somehow.
I guess, Traverse Town. I know I say Traverse and Traverse kind of interchangeably. I apologize, that's annoying. I guess this takes the place of Praxis Paradise until they decided they wanted Praxis Paradise in the series, which is a little bit weird, but alright.
Again, it's like the Sleeping Worlds, who knows how they actually work? Did those things actually happen? Did they not? That's kind of a weird thing that is part of the reason I don't like Dream Drop Distance that much.
I like it. I think it's got an eclectic set of worlds, and it's very zany. But that's enough coping for now. We're done with this week's installment of Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, and we'll see you next time for more. Bye-bye!